Yeah, truly delighted to be here. So today what we are going to present is more about how we create momentum through communication disruption in a connected world. So in Kantar, Millward Brown, we spend a lot of our energies understanding how consumer engage with media and media channels and digital world. And we like to embed our deeper understanding of brand growth strategies and how advertising work in the media planning and optimization. So a lot of it, what I'm going to talk about today, comes from those meta learning and also ad reaction consumer survey, which we have been doing since 2001, covering more than 45 markets and 15,000 over consumers every year. Sorry. So creating disruption is not easy. And it's not easy because consumers are getting busier and busier every day, spending more and more time across multiple channels. And really the divide between media and creative is kind of getting blurred over a period of time. And for marketers, the real challenge is, yes, to use the breadth and cover possibly all spectrum of communication. But at the same time, the challenge is also about how to engage consumer and give them a cohesive experience and stand as one brand and not a fragmented experience. So disruption is all about bringing that cohesiveness across consumer touch points in what you say and how you say and where you say. And in the midst of all this chaos, I think what stands out for successful campaigns or impactful campaigns is they always are backed with real, fresh and creative thinking. And that creates impact. So through our research, we know that campaigns which are highly creative also deliver higher impact. And this can take multiple shapes. Very often when we think about disruption or a new thinking, we often think about a real cool creative on television or a really good activation. But actually it's about integrated thinking across the idea or the concept to how we deliver it, to where and how we actually, deliver the commercial or the idea. So here is a very good example. The right-hand side visual, which you see from the Pedigree campaign in Australia, where they were actually advertising for Adopt a Dog campaign, and by just using a very strong visual and story and the idea, they communicated the whole essence of Pedigree being partner in consumers' life. The second one is more on how we deliver the idea, and this Burger King still ad, it's actually print ad, got mentioned in Cannes last year for using a powerful image to deliver the brand message. And as I mentioned, the last bit is also about how we kind of use the different touch points. Here is an example from Japan, again got a mention in Cannes last year, about using a consumer touch point in a really disruptive way. So in Japan, a lot of consumers use their window panes to, they use a shield to protect them during winters. And Uniqlo, when they were launching their winter collection, they used the window panes to advertise about the protection from the winter. So it's about the integrated thinking where you have to think of all the pieces, and nothing comes as an afterthought. You have to start thinking about idea and where you place it and how you will place it. So what should be the starting point on the concept? I think James talked a lot about system 1 and system 2 thinking, and we cannot emphasize the power of system 1 and how consumer think. If you think of any stories which from your childhood, if you remember, you possibly might not be able to recollect all the smaller pieces of it, but what you remember is the gist of it. And even if we tell some of you to replay those stories, you can easily do it. And you can easily do it because it has gone in your subconscious and it has built those memory structures. So in disruption, it's very critical to deliver that instant meaning. And it's a difference between, describing what is an ice cream versus 15 multiplied by 45. So the instant meaning comes from simplicity, which has to be derived from your consumer and how well you understand your consumer's world. So whether it is about reflecting the social change or getting the emotional idea or emotional hook, or understanding how you will use your product sensorial to engage consumers. But the starting point has to be the consumer understanding. And here is a very good example, NTUC Income. I'm sure a lot of you might have seen this ad. This was played across Singapore, across multiple channels, including cinema, television, digital, and it got Effie's last year, and this ad beautifully captures what Singapore culture stands for. Sorry. Oops. My apologies.
They say don't waste your life away. Don't be foolish, don't act silly. They say don't waste your money. They say don't spend a whole night out. Don't hang out, don't be loud. They say don't act proud. They say don't go all out. But what they don't know is, I've got it all planned out.
And after seeing this ad, you exactly know what they're talking about, and it uses the cultural insights around millennials, how they look at their life, what they value in their life, and depicting that worldview of millennial just helped NTUC Income to connect back with the millennial consumers for their retirement program. And since last 2 years, there's been a lot that has been talked about around powerful stories and telling the power of powerful stories and building memories. And through our advertising work, we have often seen campaigns which have been recalled a lot, campaigns which people remember inherently had one thing in common, which was powerful stories. Here is an example of how powerful story can deliver even a complex message very easily.
Hola, hijo, ¿qué haces aquí? ¿Que saliste temprano?
Sí, salimos antes. Te presento a mi amigo, Carlos.
Hola, mucho gusto, Carlos.
Acaba de entrar a la escuela. No ha tenido buena suerte en las anteriores. Ha estado en 3 escuelas.
4.
Oye, el viernes vamos a salir a una fiesta con Carlitos y todos sus amigos.
So here is an example of a really complex product feature to be communicated to consumer without using any product explanation. And very often we have seen client asking this question, oops, but I need to show the product to tell the story. And the answer is maybe not. So thinking about a unique way of expressing the innovation and finding the right story to communicate that message is very critical if you want to create the lasting impression. And all of it is because of very good reason. I think we have enough validation in the business to prove that when you have one single creative spine and a single thought, it is far more impactful in not just building short-term impact, but also the long-term association with the brand, which helps equity grow. So with this, I'm now inviting Cass to take on with the rest of the presentation.
Cool. Thanks, Ed. I was going to try tripping before coming up here, but maybe not. Cool. So it's probably very intuitive for us when we think about disruption. It has to be, the idea, the concept, as well as the channel. But then the other bit is, how about my individual creative as its own? Is that important? Do you know? Dun dun dun. There is a 0.93 correlation between the overall campaign likability and the average likability of all the ads tested as itself. And I think it's important to think about this because often we have clients coming to us and say that, I have a hero touch point, I have a hero ad, I'll just test that and then the rest I'll just make do with it and it doesn't matter because I'm going to put most of my buck behind the hero touch point. And often that gets neglected, but to be honest, what are the odds of 100% of your audience actually looking at your touch point in totality, right? So we really need to make each touch point stand on its own, and we need each creative to be strong on its own. This example is from Pakistan, and in Pakistan, the average GRPs that people get exposed to by each brand is like 10,000 GRPs. And when it comes to, in comparison, if you compare to Thailand, it's about 3,000. So the amount of clutter in Pakistan is extremely high. And when it comes to this brand, so this is 7-Up in Pakistan, they have managed to kind of launch into a moment which is about food and actually tie into different touch points. So this example is not just the TVC, not just online, but outdoor as well, whether it's the buses, it's a foodie bus, where they get to experience, the local food and all. The second one is a floating billboard, that they get to experience about the food moments. And then the last example is a foodie cruise with celebrities. So each of its touch point actually is very strong. So we have done this in the research work that we have done for this client. And in a span of 5 years, they become the top leading non-cola brand in Pakistan. And that's huge. The market size is really huge. I guess the key point is that when it comes to creative, don't neglect the other touch point, how it all works together to build out a positive halo for the overall campaign. When it comes to channel, because when it comes to disruption can take place in many shapes and form. The last bit on channel is that often we think about adapting the main main hero copy, which is often is TVC, and to make them fit within the other channels. But I think this example really truly brings out the point of adapting it to suit the consumer behavior naturally. So when we hold up the phone, we typically hold it like vertically, right? And what happens for this example in Germany is that instead of showing it in horizontal format or landscape format, they actually adapted the Facebook video ad to play in a vertical form. I mean, you might think this is just a small tweak, right? I mean, it's nothing mind-blowing. It's not really disruption. But if you look at the results that actually managed to garner, it's really double of what the TVC achieved alone, in terms of branding, in terms of affinity, like brand love, as well as relevance in the market. So it's really about just making little tweaks like this can actually kind of make it easier for consumer, and it can be actually a disruption in how we are using the channel. So this example might be something that you have seen before, but I think it makes the point. And it's also an award-winning ad. Let's play this.
Don't thank me. Don't thank me. Thank the savings.
You can't skip this Geico ad because it's already over. Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
You guys are amazing audience. After the first few seconds, the ad has ended, you are still staring at the screen and the video. Okay, so that makes the point, right? So they know that people, when an ad pops up on your YouTube, you want to skip the ad, That's the natural instinct. That's really what you want to do, basically. they already finished the message before you can click skip. But then thereafter, you're still staring at the screen because you are so intrigued by, the dog, and the actors trying to stay calm while the dog goes to them. So, the point is that, tweaks like this can be disruptive because we know how people are using the channel, how we can adapt it to really capture their attention. So that's around channel disruption. The other point that we found out from ad reaction really is that it sounds very intuitive and sounds very simple, but 1 in 4 campaigns that we test are actually not well integrated. So it's not a norm that every campaign is integrated, even though this point has been around for ages. Campaigns and the impact of campaigns which are well integrated and customized for touch points have 57% more contribution in brand impact. So it's like if the campaign can actually know how to integrate seamlessly across consumer touchpoint and tailor to each touchpoint, it can give very much incremental impact on your brand. And that's the ROI that, we often have to back up, on research to get more budget for the next campaign and all that. And that's, strong data to prove that you need a well-integrated campaign. Nothing speaks volumes more than, playing an ad which actually managed to do that. So I've got the opportunity to actually judge at Mobile Marketing Association's Smarties 2017 APAC Awards, and this is a winning campaign for 360. So it managed to have a look at how they actually plan each touch point to reach the consumer. Sorry, technical stuff. Hope you guys will like me more because of this boo-boo.
Most women in Asia did not know that environmental aggressors in cities dehydrate and damage their skin. Neutrogena Hydro Boost city-proofs your skin by protecting it against environmental aggressors like heat, humidity, wind, cold, and pollution. To prove this, Ariel Lin, Taiwan's leading actor and singer, put her skin to the test by exposing it to the weather in 5 Asian cities without leaving this room. Meet the Weather Chamber, a live stunt and installation that used real-time environmental data to recreate harsh weather conditions and simulate a hyper-realistic environment. Using multiple data sources and projection mapping, Ariel traveled from the hot markets of Bangkok to the rainy parks of Singapore, from the windy streets of Hong Kong to the cold rooftops of Taipei and traffic-filled roads of Shanghai. And Hydro Boost kept her skin perfectly hydrated and protected all the way. The stunt was live streamed for all of Ariel's fans on social media and the microsite. We didn't stop there though. We set up digital billboards with weather sensors that visualized surrounding aggressor levels at several locations. As women started to see what was affecting their skin, we encouraged them to try Hydro Boost with offers that were, you guessed it, based on the same live data from around the billboard. The higher the aggressor levels, the higher the discount. These dynamic coupons were redeemable online and offline at Watson's. On mobile and social, weather-based programmatic ads automatically targeted and retargeted potential users based on their location data. And Hydro Boost got the boost it needed, achieving 30% sales uplift in Taiwan and becoming #1 in the hydration category in leading markets. All in all, the campaign made sure that the forecast for Hydro Boost was bright and sunny.
So I think this really makes the point, right, of connecting seamlessly across touchpoint. Just not showing behind the scenes of how the product works without saying what the product benefit is by showing the environment that the celebrity is as she go through and travel through the countries. And then going into the billboards to say where the pollution levels are, and the higher the pollution, the higher your discounts. I mean, that's the point of like each touch point really has a role to play. It's not playing the same thing over and over, but each touch point makes a point in the context itself. Because the pollution is in the environment of outdoor, that is where they show the pollution levels. And then when in store, you want to activate people to buy your product, that's where you push your discounts. And you can claim it through the app that you have. So it really seamlessly tie in the whole campaign together, but at the same time, you know that it's for the same campaign, basically. So, I mean, the results is there, not just winning awards, but business-wise as well, it's pretty impressive. So what we have talked so far, disruption can take many forms. So what we have covered is concept, deep cultural understanding and carrying through a powerful story, And when it comes to creative, every creative matters to create a positive halo. In terms of channel, tailor disruption to suit the channel and connect them seamlessly to have an overall, effect to cut through the clutter that we tend to face in today's time. So all these findings that we have gotten is through the ad reaction study that we do every year since 2001. And so you can actually approach us if you want to look at different country cards of how people are interacting with each touch point, so you know how to tailor or make use of the touch points when you approach from a marketing perspective. Thank you.